What's good, everybody? It's Big Game James, man. I'm back in the building. You know, we chilling. It's winter time. We in the lights. You know, but this video right here, it's just a personal video. I ain't trying to break down nothing like that. It's just a personal video. And the title of this video is "Change the Narrative." Cowboys got to change this narrative. Obviously, we saw the game yesterday, and it was pathetic. I seen I seen when they get the gut feeling from the Cowboys beat writers. Everybody had them smashing Washington. If you watch me on Friday with my dog George Carmy, I thought it was going to be a battle. I personally said when they talked about this game that it would be a 24-20 game. I said it was going to be a lot closer than expected. It wasn't going to be a blowout. George kind of made me change my mind because he was telling everybody was sick. That never bodes well with the Cowboys. Whenever it's undrafted players, rookies who ain't never did nothing, they always come to Dallas and do it. But the Cowboys have to change this narrative, man. They were very unprepared. A lot of people were blaming players. Yes, Dak Prescott, he played terrible. The whole team played terrible. So we can't just say Dak, the whole team played terrible. But to me, that fell on the coaches. They were very ill prepared. They were not prepared. That was the frustrating thing, that you come into a game that it don't really mean nothing, but it's all about having some good momentum. Even if you lost the game, if you played well, you feel good going into the playoffs. You don't feel good when you lose like that to a team like that with a rookie who's never played. You have back-to-back guys who never played in the NFL. And Sam Howell, it's not like he was a world beater, but he did things that running the ball, just a lot of things that were bad. But I don't want to get into all the bad things because we'll be on this video forever. The main thing is the Cowboys have to change this narrative, though. They go into the playoffs playing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who I've been wanting to smoke since week 7. I've been wanting to play the Buccaneers. I'm not running away from that. I wish I could get on the field. I wish I could put the pads on because I would go all out. I put everything into it. It would mean that much to me. I don't know if it means like that to everybody. And I think that might be the issue. So the Cowboys have to change that narrative. When I listened to Mike McCarthy a while back, he was telling me, it's different here in Dallas because football's not priority here. I heard him say that. Football's not priority. There's too many other things that go on here. Football's not priority. So, he had threw that in the air. Then I listened to Dak Prescott in that game against Tennessee when they interviewed him. And, I think it was either Andre the Whitworth or it was Tony Gonzalez, but they were asking him, Dak, what's it like? You deal with Jerry Jones and you deal with the Cowboys and all this other stuff that goes on with Dallas. What's it like being a quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys? He's like, you're only good as your last game. Remember that, Dak. You're only good as your last game. That last game you played wasn't good. But he said you're only good as your last game here in Dallas. True. That's how it's judged. It ain't Dallas's fault that they had a tradition of championships before you guys got here. They won in the 90s. They won in the 80s. They just never got over the hump. You could say they were chokers in the 80s because Danny White took them to 3 NFC championships, never win, but they went to championship games. That's the difference. Danny White never won a Super Bowl, but he got to championship games. I watched him. He got to championship games. In the 70s, winning, it was a different attitude or mindset. I don't know if that mindset is the same here. That's why the narrative must be changed. It has to change within the coaches. It has to change within the players because the front office, they ain't never changing. So I can't ever ask them to change because they ain't never going to change, but these coaches can change it. These players can change this narrative, and they got to dig in deep. But bouncing off Dak Prescott, he gave an answer the same thing like Mike McCarthy said. Here in Dallas, there's a lot of other things that go on don't pertain to football. So you just got to basically stay focused and do what you need to do. That kind of stuck out to me that your head coach said that, your top quarterback said that too many other things go on in Dallas. Well, if that's the distraction, then y'all got to get it together. It's got to be y'all, because I said this at the beginning of the season. The coaches and the players are going to have to overcome the front office. Okay, they're going to have to overcome them. They're never changing, so y'all going to have to overcome that. And you can't overcome it by having a performance like that. You can't change the narrative when you have a performance like that. Now, I was looking at some research, and I watched a lot of sports in my lifetime. You know what I'm saying? I've seen a lot of teams that you never thought they were ever going to get there. And I went to a lot of baseball, some basketball because, but baseball, I watched them Cubs for a long time, man. I seen all them years they choked. They finally got over the hump. Won a World Series. Took them 108 years. Hope it don't take Dallas that long. But they won. They broke the curse. Red Sox, I watched them in 2004. They used to always get there in them against the Yankees, and the Yankees would always beat them. 2004, they were down 3-0. Thought they were going to choke again. Nobody's coming back from an 0-3 deficit. They came back and won 4 straight, eliminated the Yankees, win this World Series. Then I want to come into these Atlanta Braves. To me, the Atlanta Braves, I want to read this because to me, the Atlanta Braves are the most ones to me are like the Cowboys. The Atlanta Braves are. Because Atlanta Braves always had good teams from like 91 when they had Smoltz and Maddox, I believe, and all those guys, Chipper Jones. They had squads. But every time they get in the playoffs, choked. I think they had like some of the most wins from 91 to 05. Like they were the team. Like the Braves were the team. But you knew every year when they got to the playoffs, they were going to choke. Every year. They finally got over the hump though just recently. And this is what I want to read about them. And this is what I feel like it pertains to Dallas right now, especially going against these Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Everything comes back full circle. The idea of an Atlanta title curse was built around teams that lost when they were expected to win. Once again, the idea of the Atlanta title curse was built around teams that lost when they were expected to win. Sound like Dallas? But this Braves team was closer to the opposite. It won when it was expected to lose. Like that year they won the World Series, they weren't a top team. They had major injuries. They were suffering in the playoffs, but they had steadiness. Coaching, the leadership kept them afloat. They end up getting over it, winning the World Series. Now I've been already said that Dallas won't get to win another Super Bowl with Jerry Jones. Because I just felt like you had that time, you won those championships. It's just hard for me to believe 20, 30 years later you get to another one after everything has been done. But I don't know the future. So that's what I have to hope on. You feel me? That's what I have to live on. But the Cowboys can change this narrative starting next Monday. You have the Buccaneers, who have the worst rushing offense. Tom Brady is averaging 43 pass attempts a game. Defense is pretty good. They got like about 45 sacks, so they will pressure you. They're giving up like 21 points a game, good for like 13th, and only averaging like 17. So everything's against them, and they just lost to the Falcons. I don't care if they rest their starters. They lost to the Browns this year. They lost to Carolina this year. They just haven't been a consistent team. And Tom Brady, as I said before, he's averaging 43 pass attempts. He almost threw for 5,000 yards again at 45. Sooner or later, that luck got to run out, fellas. Y'all got to change this narrative, Dallas Cowboys. Y'all got to change this narrative. Everybody always thinks Dallas is going to choke, much like these Braves. Yeah, you made the playoffs, but you're going to choke. That's what everybody thinks. You got to change this narrative because you can change it. You can go into Tampa Bay and you can beat this team. And this is what I said. This is a golden opportunity for change the narrative because guess what? You played them. This will be the third time you played them in 2 years. How many more opportunities are you going to get to be able to slay this dragon? Tom Brady is 7-0 against Dallas in his career. We had the chance to get him in 2021. It didn't happen, and I thought we should have won that game. Come back this year. Dak Prescott said, we'll see you again. Come back this year, straight beat down. But they didn't kill us offensively. They scored 1 touchdown, the rest were field goals. We just didn't do nothing offensively. So now you're here in the playoffs. Do I think the Buccaneers are going to play like they've been playing in the regular season of the playoffs? No, because Tom Brady, he'd been done this. This is where he turns it up. But the challenge to me and to change the narrative, Cowboys, change the narrative of how we always choke in every single playoffs, how we're going to be a one and done, which I'm not speaking none of that in the air. We could be a one and done. Dallas going to do the same thing they always do. They're just going to choke like always. Cowboys, listen to this, man, and change the narrative. They all think you're going to choke, man. How about y'all change the narrative, and when they all think you're going to choke, when they all think you're going to lose, win. Because to me, that's when Dallas plays the best. Whenever you hear about Dallas, oh yeah, Dallas should be a cakewalk for Dallas. They lose. Now you're in this. Everybody thinks you're gonna lose. Everybody's gonna think you're gonna choke. So what you got to lose? Play free, play crazy, go off, change this narrative. Because don't nobody think you're gonna win this game. Everybody think you're gonna be a one and done, right? Everybody thinks you're a one and done this year. So you can change the narrative and shut people up. How good would it feel, Cowboys, that everybody talking about y'all can't win nothing, y'all always choking in the game, big game, that you go into Tampa Bay and beat these Bucks, beat Tom Brady. You're probably going to play again next year, but guess what? That would feel good to have that one loss by his name. Why wouldn't you want to play them again and get the revenge when you had Devin White and those guys calling out your offense, Kellen Moore? We knew what you were going to do, Kellen Moore. We knew you weren't going to throw. We knew you weren't going to stay with the run. We knew you were going to do this. We knew you were going to do that. So we didn't even fear you. As an offensive coordinator, I would love the opportunity after I heard that trash talk in week 1, that I got the opportunity to coach against you guys again and change the narrative. I would love that. Why wouldn't you, Kellen Moore? Dan Quinn. We're hearing his name is hot in the news, you know what I'm saying? Hot in the paper. He could be a coach somewhere else. That's a whole nother video I'm going to drop on. But, you know, he could do this and do that. Well, you know what? I mean, when people were talking about Chris Sharp being a coach, he was the hot guy when that defense was okay in 2018, and then we got smacked in the Rams game, and it was over. So, Dan Quinn, you can change this narrative about you, because you ain't been no great head coach. You choked a little bit over there. Now people are questioning you. You can change this narrative right now. If you want to leave and go to another team, this is the best way to do it, is to go out with a bang. Change the narrative. Change the narrative about you. Oh, he ain't no head coach. He's a defensive coordinator. You can change the narrative. Kellen Moore, you looking for a head coaching job? You looking to do something? Change the narrative. What do they think about you? You pass happy. You don't know when to run. You don't know when to call plays. You're goofy. Change the narrative. Mike McCarthy. Yeah, you won in Green Bay, and you won games here, but you ain't won nothing here yet. Change that narrative. And this is the perfect team to change the narrative too. The way the playoffs are rolling, you can get revenge on all these teams. All these teams that run their mouths, Bucks, you can change that narrative and get them out the way. That's going to shut a lot of people up and give y'all confidence, Dallas. That will give y'all confidence so y'all can go into Tampa Bay and beat them on the road, which I think is better, because if you're in Dallas, you would hear nothing but boos. That's why I think this is an opportune time for y'all to change the narrative. You're not at home. You don't have to hear that noise, because them Cowboys fans going to boo the hell out of you if that offense is playing bad, right? But you ain't got to worry about hearing that. You ain't got to worry about hearing that noise. You're going to be on the road. So you can play free. You can change that narrative, y'all. Then you get the Eagles. Right? I believe we get the Eagles. What better way to... Oh, they're going to smack you. Eagles is real confident think they're going to beat us with Jalen Hurts. You can change the narrative. I heard Michael Parsons calling out the team. That's great. But all y'all got to step up. Well, I was feeling what he was saying. Well, I ain't going to be young forever. I know that. My time is short here in the NFL. I want to win now. We got the team now to win now. Stop worrying about all this other stuff and let's get this done. Some leaders got to step up and change this narrative. But this is the perfect game to do it. This is the perfect game to change the narrative of the Dallas Cowboys. Do I know what's going to happen if they could go to a championship game or a Super Bowl? I don't know none of that. Am I overly confident right now going into Tampa Bay that Dallas is going to beat them? No, I'm not. But there's still an opportunity to change the narrative Monday. You can shut all the noise up. I told y'all can be worshipped in Cowboy lore if y'all win. And here's the thing. I want you to stay, Mike McCarthy, but if y'all play bad in this game, you probably gone. There's going to be major changes. So What y'all gonna do, Cowboys? Y'all gonna change this narrative, or they just gonna say the same thing about you every single year? Is that y'all accident waiting to happen? Y'all choke when it matters. Change that narrative. Excuse me. Change that narrative of you're a one and done team. Change that narrative of you're an accident waiting to happen. You have the opportunity to change the narrative because everybody's against you right now. So get together, bound together, put your heads together. Y'all have the talent to beat this team. Y'all better than this team. There should be no reason why Tampa Bay beats Dallas Cowboys. No way. But it's how bad y'all want it and how bad y'all want to change this narrative about y'all. If you really want to change the narrative, y'all will beat them. But if y'all really ain't about that narrative of we're going to want to get over the hump, we're tired of hearing this noise, we're tired of this, because you got to check it within yourself, because a lot of guys may not love it, may not want it. So we got to find out where the real leaders are to change this narrative. But as I get ready to close here, like I said, I didn't say much of crazy nothing. I didn't talk about no stats or anything like that. But it don't really matter for real. Them stats don't matter right now. You know what I mean? Both teams are struggling. Dallas is struggling. Tampa Bay struggling. Or are you trying to change the narrative? Are you trying to change the narrative? Are you trying to, as it says right here, I'll pull this up. Everything comes back full circle. Y'all trying to make everything come back full circle to where y'all changing the narrative and actually stepping out and winning, stepping up and silencing the critics. It can happen. It really can. But it's how bad Dallas wants it. All our Cowboys fans are sitting here watching and waiting. And a lot of Cowboys fans think you're going to choke too. And me, I didn't drink the Kool-Aid all year. Even if, let's say, Dallas would lose this first round, I'd be frustrated. But I already understand what this is now, so I don't trip. But, I tripped yesterday because it was Washington. I don't like Washington. I'm sorry. So I was probably a little over the top yesterday because I don't like the Washington football team. Washington Commanders football team, whatever the heck their name is now. I don't like Washington. So that was probably a little more personal with me, getting a little more emotional. But these playoffs all this playoffs to me is about changing the narrative. Changing the narrative. Are y'all going to do it, Dallas? Y'all have the opportunity to. You can. Team is better than them. But what y'all going to do? Watch my video, please. Play my video. You should. Because I'm trying to motivate you guys. Because y'all can do this. Where your leaders at? Y'all should be getting together. Y'all should be practicing like no other. That last game, that ill-preparedness frustrated me. But you still have the opportunity to change the narrative. Are you going to do it? We about to see. Big Game James. I'm out. Peace.